Hi and welcome to Cultural Geography. This class is GEO 214 and it meets the requirements for a cultural perspective. And as you work through this course, it's my goal, it's my hope that your eyes, your world will be expanded, your eyes will be open to different ideas. When I teach this class in person, I typically try to really focus and guide my students down an avenue that says other people and other ideas and other ways of doing things is not weird, it's just different. And so this class really kind of gives you the tools to work through that. And as you do that, I really encourage you to maybe apply that to what you're seeing in the news and the different people that you interact with, that what they do, how they eat, how they communicate, how they govern themselves, it's not weird, it's not wrong, it's different. And as you work your way through that, you may end up finding that you're really intrigued and really interested. More often than not, I have students that finish the class and they tell me, I want to go visit XYZ country. Like they're really intrigued by the idea of, okay, they're really different. I want to go see that with my own eyes. So I hope that you'll have that opportunity as far as like broadening your horizons and getting excited about that. This class is a 6-week course, and there's a couple of first things I want to make sure and mention to you in this short video. Number one, when you log into your class, you're going to have essentially a screen like mine. Now, this looks a little different because I have to press a button to tell it go to student view, which is why you've got that purple band along the bottom. But at the very top, it's got some basics in there. You've got the pre-course instructor welcome, which is what you're watching here. You've got a tab there to meet your professor, which gives you a little bit more nitty-gritty on me as far as why in the world am I the professor for this course. But also, I'm going to encourage you to scroll all the way down. There's two important things here. Number one, this bullet point here gives you a little bit of insight on how we communicate via online education. You need to communicate with me over email, and as you do that, please give me some input. Like don't just send me an email and expect that I know what you're talking about, expect that I know which class you're in, all those sort of things. So make sure you're telling me your name, the class number, give me specifics. I'm working on a Unit 1 project or Unit 1 assignment. It's called this, and I'm having this particular issue. Give me some insight because there's several of you in the class, and I want to make sure that I answer your questions in an appropriate manner. I'm also going to ask for a little bit of grace. You guys are probably trying to juggle a few summer things on your itinerary. Me too, but I am very much so connected to this class. But if you'll give me about 24 hours to respond, likely I won't even need that much. But if you're sending me an email in the middle of the night and can't understand why I'm not responding, I'm going to tell you, I'm an early to bed kind of person. And so if you're sending me an email late at night expecting me to respond instantaneously, oh boy, that's not going to work. However, we've got this really cool mechanism set up that if for some crazy reason you're not hearing from me, you've given me the 24 hours, you've heard nothing, it's crickets, this section right here underneath my contact kind of procedure and information, you have an email from Professor Panther at york.edu. Now, this is obviously a fictional person, but the idea is that this is a second form of communication that goes right to our online people, so that if there's a problem, they could respond to you and say, well, there's a reason that you're not hearing from Professor Lonis. You've got the wrong email address, which, by the way, it's quite simply clones at york.edu. It looks like clones, but it's clones at york.edu. Or they might be able to troubleshoot for you if you're having some other issues. So I wanted to make mention of that as well. Also notice that if you need some one-on-one help, say you're just really not understanding a particular assignment and you would like the opportunity to talk with me, we can make arrangements for that through Google Meet. Maybe you're familiar with that platform, but you need to email me, give me the details of what exactly you're needing, and give me some ideas on when you're available. I'm going to tell you that I'm really going to encourage you. Let's see if we can find a time during the day. Again, I'm not a night owl, so if we can find a time during the day to make that work, I will then respond to you, say, okay, I'm available during this time that you have suggested. Here's a link that we can log in at the same time and have an appointment. So keep all those things in mind. Let's go back to the first page here of the class so we can kind of walk through a couple other things. I do have a late work policy that it's really important that you understand this. This is a 6-week course. The class itself, if you were taking it in person, the class itself is a 15-week course, so it's really condensed, which is great. It means that you get much better bang for your buck, so to speak. The trouble is there's really not a whole lot of time to stop and, well, I need a little bit more time, or I've got this vacation planned. No, you need to make sure that you make the appropriate arrangements to get things done. The cool part about this is that the entire class is open. So in theory, you could go in if you know that you have a wedding next weekend and you need to get some things done before you go. You can. So keep these things in mind. If you miss a deadline, most of your assignments are due at the end of the week. If you miss that deadline, you have 24 hours to turn it in and you can get up to half credit. If you go more than 48 hours, it's a 0, done. So that's largely, it sounds really punitive, but the whole idea here, just stay on track. If you're running behind, there's no reason for you to constantly spend time looking backwards. So do keep that in mind as you work through the class. So let's go back to the first page. I encourage you to look through student expectations, library resources, writing center, etc., our link about Chapel, as well as the syllabus and course guide. Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, you need to print this document. So if you open this particular PDF, I'm going to go ahead and open it. I've got it on my end. If you have access to a printer, please print this. It goes through the information. It's very basic, gives you an idea of what we're trying to accomplish in this class, but here's where things get really important. On page 2, you're going to see that phrase, 8-week course. We are not an 8-week course. Keep scrolling, and you're going to go to page 4, where it says 6-week course. This is super important because you are in a 6-week course. What you're going to find is that items they're laid out in a unit, but if you come over here to the due date, this is where things are important. So now I'm going to show you on my screen what I've done. I've printed the course guide, so you've got that on paper right there, and then if I flip ahead to page 4, you've got that 6-week course label, and then you'll notice that I've got all of these items. They're listed out in that essentially looks like almost a grid or whatever, and then you'll notice that I've got a mark. That ends the items that are due on week 1 on that Sunday. So you'll notice that there's a change here. In the middle of what we would call Unit 2, we make a switch to these items are due in week 2. And so my printout, I've got a little further down another mark that tells me, okay, these are the items that are due in week 2. If you are a planner person, or if you use your phone, or if you use something on your computer for a calendar, these might be things that you'll want to put in there because this is what you have to stay on top of. And if you scroll your way through it, you're going to notice that changes then to week 3 items that are due, week 4 items that are due, week 5, and then week 6. Initially, I will do my best to remind you as we're working our way through. Don't forget, you have these items due on this particular day. But ultimately, this is your kind of the onus is on you, the responsibility is on you. You need to keep up with this. It's a six-week course. You got to keep moving. Don't let this be more of a burden. Make sure that you're staying on track with it. I'm going to come back up here and real quick talk a little bit about the different items that you're going to find each week. You're going to find discussion almost every single week. First week, you've got a checklist quiz to say, yes, I've actually looked through the class. I've listened to Mrs. Lonas talk a little bit about what the class entails, and I think I've got it. You actually get a grade for that, so make sure you do that. And that's due on Wednesday. You've got the discussion question. You've got an assignment. You're going to have each particular week, you're going to have 2, 3, maybe 4 map assignments, and then you've got video quizzes each week. And then from time to time, you're going to have something, it's kind of labeled a little odd. It's just called assignment, and then it's got the title of it. This is where you're actually going to put some of what you're learning into action. And so all of those items, I'm going to back up, go back to the class here, go to the main page here, and just show you where you're going to find all that. You're going to click through the different items. You'll click on that. You'll have access here with the map homework. This is the same thing. If you want to print it once, I would highly recommend that you print it in color if you have access to that. I do, and so I printed everything in color. It just works so much better. Or if you really don't need it printed, that's totally fine as well. But you can find your map assignments here. There's not pages on it, which is sort of a weird thing, I realize, but it does have the map. It says map 5 or whatever it is that you need. So do make sure that you have access to that, either through this, if you don't mind just looking at the screen, and then you're going to answer the 3 or 4 questions that are attached to that and submit the assignment, or you're going to print it and be able to do the very same thing and then submit it. I should take just a second to remind you, all of this is 100% online. Your textbook, the supplemental materials, you'll have some websites in here, the videos that you watch, all that stuff is in here. I hope that you find that this class is really encouraging. It's challenging in ways that just sort of broaden your horizons, opens your mind a little bit, and that you find that if you stay on track, you can be very successful in this course. I'm going to close this video with a challenge here. Let's make these next 6 weeks something really great, because we have an opportunity to really kind of explore some different avenues of the world that might encourage you to think a little bit different about the cultures that you see, maybe some that you don't see. I wish you the best of luck, and I'll talk to you again really soon. Bye.